When was the last time you truly had fun? Without guilt, without rushing, without thinking about bills or the aches in your body. Maybe you've asked yourself, is there still room for joy in my routine? Am I too old for this? But what if I told you? That leisure, that light, joyful time spent among friends and smiles, could be one of the most powerful therapies out there? Yes. And today, you'll find out why. In this video, you'll understand how moments of leisure don't just ease the mind, but also strengthen the heart, improve health, and restore self-esteem. Let's talk openly about how small joys change the way we age, about how life can feel lighter, even after 60, 70, 80. If you've ever felt left behind, if you've ever thought your best days were in the past, stay with me until the end, because today, you'll rediscover the value of friendship, carefree laughter, and time well spent. And you'll realize, it's never too late to be happy again. Take a deep breath, because what's coming next is an invitation to start over with a smile. Leisure, more than fun, a human need. When was the last time you laughed until you ran out of breath? That deep, hearty laugh, the kind that makes your eyes water. Or when was the last time you sat on a park bench just to chat, without watching the clock, just listening to the stories of those beside you, even if you've heard them 1,000 times before? We live in a world that values productivity, where resting has become a sin, and having fun is seen as laziness. But the truth is, leisure is not a luxury. Leisure is invisible nourishment, food for the soul. Just as the body needs food, water, and sleep, the heart needs lightness. It needs time to beat more calmly. It needs space to breathe, to smile, and simply to be. When was the last time you truly had fun? Without guilt, without rushing, without worrying about bills or the aches. Your body. Have you ever stopped to wonder if there's still room for joy in your routine? Or if maybe you're too old for it? What if I told you that leisure, that light, joyful time spent among friends and smiles, could be one of the most powerful therapies for the mind, body, and heart? That these moments of fun can transform the way we age, strengthening our self-esteem and our health? Today, in this video, you'll discover exactly why leisure is so essential and how it can bring more lightness, even after 60, 70, 80, or beyond. If you've ever felt forgotten, left behind, or thought your happy days were in the past, stay with me until the end here. You'll rediscover the value of true friendship, carefree laughter, and time well spent. And before we begin, I want to extend a special invitation. Subscribe to the channel now, because here you'll find content designed to transform your daily life with stories, tips, and inspiration to live better and happier. Subscribing ensures you won't miss any of these opportunities for care, comfort, and growth. Also, your best phase is still ahead. The science behind laughter and companionship. Deep down, we've always known that laughter is good for us, but now, even science confirms what the heart has known for a long time. Laughter heals. Companionship strengthens. Friendship extends. When we laugh heartily, we're not just expressing joy. We're releasing endorphins, natural chemicals produced by the brain that relieve pain, reduce stress, and bring a real sense of well-being. It's as if the body itself is saying, "Keep going, this is good for you." And you know what's even more beautiful? This effect multiplies when we're with others. When we laugh together, the brain understands that we're safe, cared for, part of a group. That's when oxytocin, the so-called cuddle hormone, comes into play. It appears in moments of connection, a hug, a sincere conversation, a lighthearted joke. It strengthens bonds and protects the heart, both literally and emotionally. It's no exaggeration to say that a circle of friends can be more effective than medicine at times, because the body doesn't separate the physical from the emotional. Everything is connected, and when the heart feels good, the body responds. Blood pressure drops, sleep improves, digestion works better. Even immunity, our natural defense against illness, gets stronger. But there's more. Leisure time spent with others activates areas of the brain responsible for memory, language, and even creativity. That's why, when we're in good company, ideas flow, words come easily, and the mind clears. And none of this happens by accident. We were made to live in groups, to share stories around the table, to sing together, to exchange glances and smiles. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a recent invention, a side effect of a world that moves too fast and listens too little. So what happens when an older person starts isolating themselves? The brain slows down, memory weakens, spirits fade. It's not just sadness, it's biology. That's why it's so important to cultivate moments of leisure with others, even if it's with just a few people. Even if the gatherings are simple, it's in these moments that the heart opens and the soul finds rest. Maybe you think, but I've lost so many friends. I don't have anyone to talk to anymore. And I understand. The pain of absence is real. Sometimes it feels like the world is shrinking along with our connections, but there are always ways to rebuild. Maybe it's a neighbor you've never really gotten to know, a walking group, a book club, a community project. What matters isn't the number of people, but the quality of the connection, because even one meaningful conversation a week can be the thread that keeps us alive inside. Laughter, even if rare, can reignite light where there was only exhaustion. And more than that, it reminds us that there's still beauty in being here, that we still have stories to tell, memories to make, laughter to share. Sometimes it all starts with a simple hello, with a shy invitation for coffee, with a sincere compliment, a shared memory, and that small, seemingly silly gesture can become a new bond, a new habit, a new joy. So next time you have the chance to be with someone, even for just a few minutes, be fully present, listen closely, share a funny story, ask a caring question, let yourself laugh, even when life feels heavy, because laughter is breathing from within, and being with others is remembering. We're not alone on this journey. Science has proven it. The heart already knows. Now it's time to live and rediscover the power in simple moments, light conversations, and shared smiles. The danger of silent isolation. There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't scream, that doesn't knock on the door or make a scene. It creeps in slowly, and by the time we notice, it's already settled in. It doesn't hurt at first, but it eats away at us inside. It's the silence that comes after the kids move out, after childhood friends start passing away, after the routine slows down and the phone stops ringing. Many people look from the outside and think, oh, but they're always at home, they have everything they need. But no one sees the emptiness that grows when days pass without a hug, a real conversation, a smile that warms the heart. Isolation, when silent, is treacherous. It disguises itself as rest, but it's emotional abandonment. It steals the joy of getting ready, going out, seeking something new. And little by little, what was just a Saturday alone becomes a month without interaction, a year without touch, a life without sharing, and the body feels it. The mind grows quiet, the heart grows sad. Studies show that social isolation can be as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Yes, the impact of chronic loneliness on the body is real. It increases the risk of heart disease, speeds up cognitive decline, weakens immunity, and in many cases can lead to depression, which in older adults is often silent and misunderstood. But it's not just about numbers, it's about the soul. Because being ignored hurts, being forgotten hurts even more, and when leisure disappears, when conversation fades, when the only sound of the day is the TV left on just for background noise, something inside us shuts down. And no matter how strong you've learned to be, how much you endure, how you don't want to bother anyone, you weren't born to live like this. No one was. To be human is to connect, to share, to listen and be heard, to laugh together, to even cry together, if needed. That's why it's so important to recognize the signs of isolation in ourselves and others. If you notice you've gone days without talking to anyone, if you catch yourself thinking, no one would miss me, if you no longer feel like doing what once brought you joy, know this. It's not silly. It's your soul calling for connection, and you don't have to wait for someone to knock on your door. You can take the first step. You can volunteer in a community group. Reach out to an old friend. Say yes to that invitation you've been declining. Or even create your own small circle. Coffee, reading, music, crafts. It doesn't matter. What matters is allowing yourself to be with others, because it's in others that we find ourselves. It's in shared laughter that loneliness loses its grip. It's in presence, even silent, that the heart beats with renewed energy. And if you know someone living in this silence, a neighbor, a friend, a relative who's been distant, reach out, call, visit, invite. Sometimes your gesture can be the turning point in someone's life. Isolation doesn't have to be a life sentence. It can be a passing moment, one that gives way to new beginnings, new smiles, new connections. Because even when the world seems quiet, there's always someone willing to listen. Sometimes all we need is to remember that we still matter, and that life, even on the quietest days, can still surprise us with healing bonds and encounters that save us. Friendships in later life, a treasure more valuable than ever. As the years go by, we learn to be selective. We choose what we eat, who we talk to, where we spend our time. And sometimes through hardship, we learn that not all company is good. But the good kind? That's worth its weight in gold. In our youth, we make friends everywhere. At school, at work, at parties. But over time, life pulls us apart without us even noticing. One moves away, another starts a family, another gets lost in their own struggles. Before we know it, our circles grow smaller, yet the value of each true friend grows like never before. In later life, friendship stops being about vanity. It becomes a necessity, a safe haven, a relief, a reason to keep going. It's the friend who understands how you feel just by the way you stir your coffee, the neighbor who knows when you're feeling low and shows up with a smile and a simple cake, the walking buddy who doesn't need to say much, just being side by side is enough. These friendships nurtured over time are healing. They're bonds without demands, without judgment, without competition. They're spaces where we can be exactly who we are, with our quirks, our pains, and our silences. And those who think making new friends after 60 is harder are mistaken. In truth, it's more genuine, because there's no time left for games, no desire to impress. What exists now is presence, listening, and pure affection. Some of the deepest friendships are born in this very stage of life, because now we know what matters. We know the value of a phone call in the late afternoon, an invitation for coffee with no rush. How are you? Asked with real interest in the answer. But for these friendships to blossom, we must be open. Clear space in our schedules, yes, but above all, clear space in our hearts. Step out of autopilot. Say yes to a conversation, even when your body begs for bed. Accept the invitation, even if the fear of rejection still whispers in the back of your mind. Many older adults feel invisible, but a true friendship brings back the spark in their eyes. It makes them feel seen, heard, important. Because when someone truly cares about you, it's as if life itself is saying, you still matter. And that feeling, that certainty, is one of the most powerful remedies there is. It boosts self-esteem, sharpens memory, lifts the spirit. It opens the heart to trust again, to feel again, to create new memories. If you have a true friend, celebrate them. Send a message, pay a visit, say how you feel. These connections may not last forever, but what they leave in us does. And if you're missing this, if you feel alone on this journey, know that there's still time. There always is. Friendship has no age limit, only the limit of our willingness. Look for groups in your neighborhood, book clubs, discussion circles, community gatherings. Maybe someone there is waiting for companionship just like yours. Because no matter how much the world insists on rushing, one thing never changes. The human heart will always need another heart to walk alongside. And when two hearts meet, without hurry, without masks, without expectations, that's where friendship is born. And that's where life, even in its twilight, can dawn anew. Simple activities, profound benefits, from dominoes to park strolls. Sometimes we get used to thinking only grand things are worthwhile. An expensive trip, a crowded party, a packed event. But after a certain age, life teaches us that the greatest joys live in the simplest things. A game of dominoes in the park. Leisurely walk just to watch the trees change color. A cup of coffee paired with good conversation. Laughing over old memories. It's in these small actions that the secret to well-being hides. It's not just leisure, it's health in disguise, prevention in the form of laughter, therapy without a couch. Studies show that simple, regular activities like playing cards, walking, knitting, or playing an instrument keep the brain active. They stimulate memory, focus, coordination, even language. And more than that, they create moments of presence. When you're there, picking your domino tile, keeping score, joking with friends, your mind unplugs from what weighs it down and anchors itself in the now. The same happens on a gentle walk. Your body moves, your blood flows, your thoughts settle. These activities give structure to the day, and that's essential. Having a commitment, no matter how small, gives us a reason to get out of bed, change clothes, take care of ourselves. Without it, time becomes a blur. Days lose their shape, and with them, we lose the spark of living. That's why simple leisure must be reclaimed and valued. It's not a waste of time, it's an investment in mental, physical, and emotional health. Dominoes sharpen the mind, walking strengthens the heart. Conversation lifts self-esteem, laughter eases stress, touch, hugs, companionship. They all nourish the soul. And the best part? These activities don't ask for much. No money, no equipment, no degrees, just presence and a willingness to connect. Maybe you think, but I've never played games. Or I don't know anyone who'd join me. That's okay. It's never too late to start. There's always someone nearby looking for company too. Sometimes a good morning at the gate is the start of a new routine. Sometimes a simple invitation, let's take a short walk, changes the course of a week. What matters is not falling into the I'll do it later trap. Life happens now, and now can be light, even with all the hardships, even with the aches, the losses, the limits of age. Because what truly helps isn't what's expensive or complicated. It's what brings us closer, what brings joy, what lights us up inside. So rediscover these simple pleasures. Revisit what once made you smile, or find new ways to enjoy yourself. A stroll in the park, an afternoon of games, a cup of coffee with someone who listens. All of this, added up, can do far more than you imagine. It can lift your mood, your energy, your memory, your hope, and most of all, it can remind you every single day that life is still full of possibilities, even in the simplest moments, even on the most ordinary days, because that's where everyday miracles live, in small encounters, spontaneous gestures, and unexpected smiles. Laughter therapy. When joy becomes medicine. Have you ever noticed how your body responds when you genuinely laugh? Shoulders relax, breathing changes, eyes sparkle. The soul seems to sigh in relief. It's as if, in that moment, everything weighing you down simply disappears, or at least feels a little lighter. Laughter has that power. And this isn't just poetry, it's science. When we laugh, the body releases endorphins, the famous happiness hormones. They reduce stress, ease pain, improve circulation, and even strengthen the immune system. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about laughter isn't the physical benefits, it's the connection, because no one laughs alone for long. Laughter is an invitation, a bridge, an embrace. It emerges in the exchange of glances during a simple joke, in the funny memory of a past mishap, in those everyday silly moments that, when shared, become unforgettable stories. And listen, we're not talking about being funny all the time. You don't have to become a clown to benefit from laughter. It's about allowing yourself to find lightness, even in life's fine print. It's about keeping the ability to laugh at yourself, to chuckle at the lost glasses that were on your head all along, at the recipe that went wrong but turned into a kitchen joke, at the silly stumble that became a reason to laugh with friends. Laughter is also about accepting imperfection. It's about dropping the armor and saying, "It's okay, I mess up, but I'm alive." And when laughter is shared, something magical happens. It becomes collective healing. A burst of laughter in a conversation circle can lift the mood of everyone present. It breaks the ice, dissolves shyness, creates instant bonds. That's why social gatherings, community groups, and even laughter therapy sessions are gaining popularity among older adults, with great results. Laughing in a group reminds us there's still room for joy, spontaneity, and the unexpected. And the best part? Laughter has no side effects. It's free. No prescription needed. Well, actually, it does have one side effect. It can be addictive. Because the more we laugh, the more we want to laugh again. And in that laughter, what once was pain softens a little. What was loneliness opens into connection. What was an ordinary day becomes a happy memory. You deserve to laugh, even if they say this stage of life is just for resting, even if your body is tired, even if times are hard. In fact, it's precisely in these moments that laughter becomes most necessary. It doesn't deny reality. It gives us strength to face it. Laugh with someone. Laugh at yourself. Watch a silly movie. Read something lighthearted. Join gatherings where humor is welcome. Laughter doesn't fix everything, true, but it prepares the soul to keep trying. And at the end of the day, when we laugh, it's like telling the world and ourselves, it's still worth it because it is, it really is. Clubs, groups, and conversation circles, creating belonging through connection. There's a difference between being alone and feeling alone, because you can live with people, have neighbors around, even family nearby, and still carry an emptiness you can't explain. This emptiness has a name: lack of belonging. And that's why clubs, social groups, and conversation circles are so important in later life. They're not just distractions. They're places to rediscover who you are, spaces where your voice matters again, where listening truly happens, where laughter needs no reason, and hugs come without hurry. In these gatherings, life finds a new rhythm. Time slows down, the heart expands, and you realize you still have so much to offer, to share, to live. Often, the feeling of invisibility grows with age. People stop hearing your opinions, call you grandpa or grandma, as if you've lost your name and story. But in a group, you become a whole person again, with experiences, with ideas, with wisdom. A book club, for example, isn't just about books. It's about seeing the world through others' eyes, interpreting life with new meaning. It's about listening and being heard. And that heals old wounds. Walking groups, crafting circles, choirs, cooking classes. They all share the same power, creating bonds. Bonds between people, but also between parts of yourself you thought were forgotten. In a conversation circle, we share memories and realize we're not alone in our pains, fears, or longing. That story you thought was only yours? Someone across the circle has lived it too, and suddenly you're no longer a stranger. You belong, and you know what else? These spaces don't demand perfection. You don't need to embroider like an expert, or be the most active, the most cheerful. You just need to be there. Because sometimes presence alone is the greatest gift. These groups also help combat sedentary habits, depression, anxiety, issues often overlooked in older age. But most importantly, they restore a sense of worth. It's beautiful to see someone arrive shy, sitting quietly in the corner, and over weeks start laughing loudly, sharing stories, eagerly awaiting the next meeting. That's therapy without a white coat, care without a hospital, medicine for the soul. And if your town doesn't have groups like this, you can start one. Gather neighbors, old friends, people in your community. It all begins with an invitation, a let's talk, a wanna come over, a why don't we create something of our own. You'll be surprised how many others have been waiting for this too, for a space where they can simply be themselves. Because in the end, what we all want, at any age, is to belong, to feel our existence matters, that someone cares, that life still pulses within us and around us. So find your group or create one, because in connection loneliness loses its grip and the heart finds home. Now that you've discovered the transformative power of leisure and genuine connections, how about taking that first step today? Choose a simple activity. Call that friend you've been meaning to reach out to, go for a walk, or simply smile more. Life in your golden years doesn't have to be just about challenges. It can also be about rediscovery, joy, and nurturing both body and heart. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone you love. Leave a comment below telling us your favorite way to relax and have fun. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories and tips to brighten your everyday life. Because with friends and laughter, life feels lighter. And health blossoms. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, may it be filled with even more joy, care, and friendship.